that series, but everything changes in the postseason. I mean, we thought the Mets were really, really good, and then in the second half of the season, you're like, they don't have enough guys who can hit. They went against the Padres are West Coast baseball right now. The Mariners have a star. The Padres have several. The Dodgers have an all-star lineup, but keep your eye on Houston. Still contend that's the best team in baseball. J-Mac with the news.
No. Turn on the news. This is the Herd Line News.
We spent some time talking about the Chris Jones roughing the passer call. Well, there was another one, obviously, the Tom Brady one on Sunday that caused outrage in Week 5. And the league is reportedly discussing plans about whether or not they should change things when the team owners meet in New York next week. Now, no changes are expected during the season, but future adjustments could be considered. Colin, this doesn't seem that difficult, right? If you're an official and you look at the replay of Chris Jones, well, the ball was loose. That's not a roughing the passer flag. Shouldn't it have been obvious to them? I don't know how they could get it so wrong last night.
Yeah, and also these are standalone games. So if this game is buried in the 1 o'clock window, it doesn't get nearly the play. Like the Atlanta-Tampa call was horrible, but the Rams-Cowboys game was on, so a lot of the country didn't see it. A standalone game that's a great game with Mahomes. The Jarrett call, many think, I don't, was just as bad as this call, but not as much of the country saw it. So when you screw things up in this league, bury it in the 1 o'clock window. These standalone games, you got 15 million people. This is the Jarrett call, which it's a bad call, too.
Yeah.
The difference, of course, is Chris Jones took the ball away.
Yeah.
It was literally a turnover. You changed possession. So
and it was at the end of the half. Could have been easily 3 for the Chiefs.
Absolutely. And you can't, remember when we were all going crazy on the catch rule? And I remember having Roger Goodell on the show, and I said, Roger, you're in the business of elevating great players. That's why people watch the NBA or baseball. They want their stars. You're literally taking catches, amazing catches from your best playmakers. Chris Jones made the defensive play of the year last night, and you took it away from him.
Yeah.
That is a problem.
If you go back and look at the Tua injury he suffered against the Bengals, there was no flag on that play, Colin. He got ragdolled and knocked out. No flag. So obviously the league saw that and is like, we got to overcompensate. Anyone touches an official. You made a great note on Max Crosby. He had Mahomes wrapped up.
He just
let go because the referee's right there. You don't need to get a whistle.
That would be, I think, that would be ideal. But again, when you're a defensive lineman, if you can get a sack a game, you get a $100 million contract.
Yeah.
So these guys are battling for 3.5 hours. They get the quarterback in their grasp once, and you ask them to just bear hug and let it go.
You're excited. Yeah.
Of course you are. And there's also when you're a 309-pound guy, and you don't come in with a clean shot. You're off balance. You drive in, you get the quarterback. You put your weight on him. The idea that you're going to land soft, you're asking these defensive guys to do what's physically impossible.
Speaking of Crosby, he was incredible last night. He's got to be in that Bosa category, Micah Parsons.
Yes.
Just a total game changer. All right, next up, let's go to the Chargers. And your guy, Brandon Staley. Chargers were up by 2 late in the fourth. Of course, Staley elected to go for it on 4th and 1. They did not get it, but luckily, the Browns could not make the field goal. But Keenan Allen, who was sitting at home on his sofa with a hamstring injury, tweeted, WTF are we doing? And of course, that got 1 billion retweets. Well, Staley has talked about it. Says, hey, no hard feelings between me and Keenan Allen. Anyone that's been a part of competition knows that when you're not a part of it, you can kind of feel some type of way. Keenan's heart is with me, with us. I'm understanding of where he was in that moment because he's not with the team or in the fire. That's a money down that he's used to being out there. We're going to become closer because of it. We already became closer this morning. I'm going to go ahead and disagree with Brandon Staley a little bit.
I didn't like the call.
I don't want to say he's lost the locker room.
Back-to-back years, he's made a 4th down call. He's 1 for 1, but I think he's not owning the situational nature of 4th down calls. Jacoby Brissett, make him beat you. Derek Carr last year, punted.
How about the final week of the season where he called a timeout on that Raiders final drive? It looked like it was going to be a tie game. Chargers in the playoffs. Raiders are like, oh no, let's go for it. We get the field goal in week 18. Like, Staley is basically like batting 0 in a lot of these scenarios. And Colin, you hear stuff, and Staley's not in a good position right now with the Chargers.
Well, I think the Keenan Allen tweet and the fact that he kept it up and didn't delete it,
speaks
he
volumes.
was speaking for more than Keenan Allen.
Maybe.
And to have the courage to put that up. If I called out my boss at Fox, I would do that knowing many of my associates felt the same way. I'm not putting myself on an island. No. I mean, so Keenan Allen, who is a great player, and when he was out, it changes the temperature in the room for them. I think Staley's a smart guy. That doesn't mean he's a great football coach. Yeah. He's just a smart guy, which I'm glad he's smart. I want my smart guy. McVay's both. Staley right now is proven to be smart.
Yeah.
Is he a great coach? A big part of that is situational football.
This was a 1 o'clock game, and it's still got a massive highlight. Just by the way, Monday Night Football, SoFi, Chargers, Broncos. Staley better be on point for that one, okay? No mistakes in the Island games. And finally, Colin, Bailey Zappi had a solid performance in his first start ever on Sunday. Patriots got an easy win over the Lions, mostly thanks to the defense. It remains unclear when Mac Jones will be ready to return from the ankle. Belichick is shutting down any future quarterback controversy between his players.
Yeah, I'm not going to get into a lot of hypotheticals on all different things that might or might not happen and all that. That's just, to me, a waste of time. I'm not going to sit around here and dream up, scenarios, and we'll take things as they come and go from there.
So Jerry Jones likes to stoke a quarterback controversy. Bill Belichick done a little bit of winning in his career. I'm not even touching that nonsense.
Well, Andy Reid, when they asked him about Chris Jones, I'm not getting fined. I'm getting out of here.
Smart.
J-Mac with the news.
Well, that's the news.
And thanks for stopping by.
The Herd Line News.
I admitted that Sam Darnold didn't work. It'd be funny. It'd be nice if some of you admitted Baker was a whiff. But be that as it may, I like Carson Wentz more than other people. It should be noted, the Colts were 9th in scoring last year with Carson Wentz. They're now dead last in the league. Just throwing it out there. I know I like Carson Wentz more than you, but we have a trend in the NFL. Mike Zimmer struggled with his quarterback. Belichick at the end struggled with Brady. Pete Carroll struggled with Russell Wilson. Brian Flores couldn't get along, a defensive coach with Tua, and now Ron Rivera, defensive coach, struggling with Carson Wentz. He called him out at a press conference yesterday, on Sunday.
Giants, they're up to a faster start. The Eagles, the Cowboys, they've kind of all been rebuilding too the last couple of years, and it seems like they're farther ahead. Why do you think the teams in the division are farther ahead at this point?
Quarterback. The truth is that this is a quarterback-driven league. And if you look at the teams that have been able to sustain success, they've been able to build it around a specific quarterback.
Not great. Alex Smith defended. Now, he played for Washington, too. He knows what a circus it can be. He defended Carson Wentz.
I'm not here to defend Carson Wentz. He's had a tumultuous career and ups and downs, but this is a defensive head coach that is absolutely driving the bus over his quarterback. The blame has got to be spread around. This is a team sport. It is the ultimate team sport, and how a head coach can stand up there in front of the media and usher one word, and it's quarterback.
Again, Zimmer couldn't get along with Cousins. He gets fired. They're bringing an offensive guy. Kirk's playing well. And Mike Tomlin, how many years do you get to figure out the offensive line? Sean McDermott, who's a great coach. How long does it take to get a running game? Brian Daboll's done it with a bad O-line in 5 games in New York. We have a trend here. Defensive coaches, many are struggling as the league pivots to an offensive coach. A lot of these guys, there's a way to win. Yeah, get along with your quarterback. Mike Zimmer's a good coach, got fired. Ron Rivera can coach. He's going to get fired. He's on the hottest seat in the league. So, Pete Carroll's fine, and he's doing it with Geno, but he's run through offensive coordinators, and at the end, he wore out Russell, and Belichick wore out Brady. I like Ron Rivera. I think Ron Rivera's a good coach. I wouldn't go there. Carson Wentz has had so many people pile on him. Jim Irsay, the Philadelphia fans. That's the last thing I'm going to do is beat up on Carson Wentz. The Colts are now 32nd in scoring. They were 9th with Wentz. Don't tell me he was the problem. They don't have enough playmakers. And I know he's not as good as you think. Okay? Is he the 18th best quarterback in the league? I always thought he was around 12. He's probably 18 to 20. I get it. This isn't how you solve it. That's not how you solve the problem. J-Mac is disgusted by my take.
Well, I mean, Colin, I was on Washington in that game.
Yeah.
I had a significant amount of money on Washington. And I'll just say this. Carson Wentz, 3 chances from the 2-yard line to win the game.
Yeah.
He's the reason they lost that game. They got in position. You're at the 3-yard line, and you can't get them 2 yards. He was terrible. Now, I know he threw for 350 yards, one bomb.
Yeah.
Tennessee's secondary is garbage.
Okay.
Are you defending Carson Wentz here?
He threw for 3.5 football fields. Guy's a bum.
Okay, so should we bring up the 170 he threw for against Dallas? He takes sacks like he's taking tickets at a bakery. I mean, the guy, he is not a good quarterback. There's a reason Philly dumped him. There's a reason the Colts were like, get out of here, and now Ron Rivera is running the truck over him.
All right, we'll disagree.
Carson Wentz, is that who you want to see? You want to plant your flag on?
I'm just saying he's better than you guys give him credit for. Go look at the Colts offense, 32nd in the league, dead last in scoring, which seems to me to matter in the league.
And any of his teammates come out and defend him yesterday after Rivera just destroyed him? Anyone come out and say, hey, listen, Carson's our guy? Anyone? One player? Have you heard one Eagle or Colt come out and defend Carson Wentz? There's a reason he's not liked in locker rooms. The guy thinks he's amazing, and he's not. Sorry to go in on Carson there. Apologies to his family. But you hear stuff, and he's apparently just not like a team guy.
All right. Well, these days, every new potential hire, maybe they should hire a new quarterback or a coach, can feel like a high-stakes weight.